Hello there, and welcome to another one of my cassette reviews. Today we are going to be looking at the Phantom Maggots album Tripping on Shit, as you can see here. Now, I do want to first say, I honestly made this video not for that, but for the sake of showing off, my cool new intro, if you saw it before. I mean, at least I think it's cool, I don't know. It's probably not cool in other people's opinion, because I mean, it's Legos and it's kind of childish. I'll talk about that some other time. But today, I'd like to get into the review. What I want to also first talk about too is that I wanted to make this special, especially for the fact that I did it with the really interesting intro, in my opinion. I wanted to make a very interesting topic too. So this isn't just some lazy topic I just picked out a random one out of my drawer and said, okay, I'm going to do this. I decided to go to Chicago for a break. Before anything, we decided to take a stop at the Art Institute in Chicago. It was a pretty cool exhibit. And we took the train down to the store. Oh, while I'm at it, I might as well say, anyone beginning to search for tapes, I think it is vital to bring a cassette player so you can test out the music while you are there. Here we are. It was a cool trip, I gotta admit, and they had a lot of stickers and a lot of cool things around there. Of course, when I was there, that wasn't the only record I got. I got a couple other stuff, like, as you can see here. To start off, I got this. This is a very interesting artist. It wasn't my style, but I had to get it because it was a guy who made everything all on his own. Then I also got a couple of VHS tapes that I might blank them over if they're not good, and maybe, record some stuff straight from TV. Got some DVDs, got another cassette, useless, and got a poster for a friend, Radiohead, and a couple of 45s. One was warped, but that'd be a fun thing. Then it was free, so I got it for my sister. And then of course, I got our material for today. Here's the album, pretty nice, pretty good layout. Can't wait to show you it in more detail. Pretty cool. As you could have seen in my video, it was a pretty fun trip. When I was there, I went through tape by tape by tape to try to find a really good one, because they were all $5, and $5 is a lot in my budget when it comes to finding a good tape. And if it was in the dollar bin, I'd pick up random ones and I wouldn't listen through each one, but I listened through each one just to make sure I got the correct tape I wanted to review. And this was an interesting one, I gotta tell you. When I was looking for it, I constantly skimmed by it because I thought it was going to be another trash tape, like if you've ever probably heard of Sack Lunch. I was kind of worried they'd sound like that, which, I mean, it's funny sometimes when you hear their stuff, but it's not really. It's kind of just a little boring and not really thought out, although kind of cool sometimes. I do want to also say that this was interesting because right when I found it, right when I listened to it after I went back and I was like, you know what, none of these are interesting. I want to just see what this is. Maybe it's good. It was good. It was a very interesting tape to find. So let's stop wasting time and let's get into the review. I'm going to start with the likes, just so you understand maybe more of what I also disliked. And I do want to say that first off, I did think it was very interesting how they did have a good recording. Well, not like the best quality, but like it had a very good recording, and like the instrument presentation. And what I mean by that is that you could hear the voices in the correct pattern. Like The vocals were louder than the drums and the guitar, which is kind of what you want from an artist. I mean, it's kind of given, but an independent artist, you never know. Most of them are, from what I've found, are kind of recorded live. What I mean by that is that they just record it straight up out of the room, and they don't really, have it go through a system or a 4-track recorder or anything like that. And it doesn't sound good. In their case, they did it very well, and I gotta give them props for that, because I guess it was well enough that, like, it kind of exceeded what I expect from most punk bands. Normally the vocals are overpowered by the guitar, because the guitar is more of an interesting instrument to hear. I also do want to say that they had really interesting solos on there. And from an independent artist, most of the time it's just random chords. But in this case, they actually did a lot of their own solos and parts where it just was the guitarist playing. And that's a very, very cool part to hear, especially from an artist that's not really well known. I do also want to say that they had riffs too, which is kind of what all artists have to have. It's kind of like a given in any sort of musical edition, and that was cool. The riffs really went with the beat of the songs. They really went with the mood of the what was given in the album. Yeah, and I guess also I should also say that the song, although the songs did cover like various topics like marijuana and stuff, they did it in a very interesting way. And what I mean by that is they kind of had metaphors for some of what they were bringing up. And that was really cool to see them do. It wasn't just straight out like, I like marijuana or whatever. It was like, they coded it within. And I find that very, very cool and very artistic for any artist. Even if you're a parodic artist and you're doing that, that's a very, very cool thing to do, in my opinion. And I guess a good example would be their song Scooby Snacks, where they put it in with, if you ever saw Scooby-Doo as a kid, they put it in with Shaggy and Scooby in order to get a metaphor across. Maybe it wasn't a metaphor, you can correct me if I'm wrong. That was really cool. And they also did something, if you've ever seen Kid and Play. Now, they didn't sound like Kid and Play by any means, because, I mean, they're a popular rap group from the 90s, and these are punk artists, so it's a completely different thing. But they do this thing, I guess in Kid and Play's album, they did this thing where in between every track they'd have like a little improvisation, or maybe a clip from a movie, I don't know. But it was interesting. They did something like that, where they'd have like a mini improvisation thing that the artist would do in between each track, which it's pretty cool. It's a very admirable skill. I do also want to say that if you want like maybe a comparison, I'm gonna give a couple popular examples, because if I give popular examples, it kind of directs you to knowing what the artist sounded like. And in this case, it kind of sounded like the early Green Day. And it mixed with this other artist I remember hearing. And they're semi-popular around the 90s. I don't know, how popular, but if you've ever heard Dancehall Crashers, it's kind of like a male vocal line like them. Like their vocals have kind of a similar pattern to them. And if you mix that in with Green Day, and then it kind of sounds like that. Now, I can go on and on about what was good, but there, of course, with any album, with any artist, with whatever they give you, there's of course going to be some negatives. In this case, there weren't many, but there were a couple I would like to point out. The first part would be that they, between the track improvisation, even though they did it, it wasn't very, very, very intricate. It was a little bit, but it wasn't enough to really tide you over. There was one where it seemed like they put a lot of work in, and they had like background noises and all that, and it kind of seemed to, it was pretty cool to see. But most of them, were a couple seconds long, and they didn't really seem thought out. Like, I mean, to be honest, if if you heard one of them, it was like shitty titties. I mean, like it made no sense. But you know what? That it was cool to see, even though it wasn't thought out. I also do want to say that the recording quality. I know I said before that the vocals lined up with how it was supposed to sound over the guitar and all that, but the overall quality of the cassette itself, it wasn't really something you call a masterpiece. They didn't do a perfect job with noise reduction, or well, noise reduction is kind of hard, especially if you're going to try to do it without Dolby or anything like that. But it didn't sound like perfecto. It was kind of the hissing was kind of a little too loud for a cassette, which that's something to say because most people knew cassettes for their hiss. It also had it didn't really have like once it didn't seem like they were working on how loud or how soft the sound went. And what I mean by that is if it got too loud, you could kind of hear the sound distorting, which means they probably didn't do the best job managing how loud or how soft it was supposed to get within the tape itself. So other than that, it didn't really have much wrong with the actual audio, or there wasn't any other things I disliked, but that's basically what I thought about the actual audio itself. Now, this may be a quicker segment, but let's get into the actual design and the casing and how it looked as an album. Now, as you can see here, this is the actual album itself. It's in a regular jewel case, average J card, which it's pretty cool. But nothing stylish, nothing out of the ordinary. Now right here you can see the actually the glare is kind of bad here, so let me get the actual artwork out of the case. Let me first start with the tape itself. It's not really. It's kind of just like printed on there with probably like a label printer. Green casing, so they definitely did get actual tapes to make the music. They didn't just grab random Memorexes and then just slap them in a box and call it a master, which is interesting because they call themselves a fake label. This people right here. Can't see that, but that says dogworld.com. It seems like the casing was I guess the artwork was pretty interesting. Kind of looks like how you say I want to say Bleach, but I know that's just okay, Nirvana's first album, except with a green undertone. I guess to get away the I guess it's like a signification of the marijuana they were trying to signify in the whole album itself. Track names are right here, which is nice if you're going to have it, in here. You can easily see the names of the songs. It's common, so, nothing out of the ordinary there. Artwork on the edge side right there. Who did the vocals, the credits, and all that are right here. And I guess these are the people themselves, the Phantom Maggots right there. So, I don't know. It's decent casing, it's decent artwork. Oh, and might I not forget, I don't know what this thing is, probably a penis, I don't know. But it's playing a guitar, whatever it is. Pretty cool. I would say one criticism about this is that if they were to do proper artwork, it would have this part instead of being like a label like that, have it printed out there. And then this right here, even though it's a pretty cool design, I'd have green background to go with the rest of the theme on the album. Yeah, and speaking of which, I guess also where it says the Phantom Maggots and Trippin' on Shit, and the border right here, those should all be in green text like that. But other than that, it looks pretty nice. It looks pretty cool. So yeah. So I'll end this video. Here we go. So I want to end this video saying thank you for watching, and also hopefully you enjoyed this review. Before I forget, the beginning intro, that's from a song by this early 90s jazz duo, not jazz duo, but jazz artist by the name of Fish for Fish. Those are from their song Cars and Elephants. I would recommend you check them out sometime. They have some, it's kind of eerie, but they have a pretty cool beat. Although it's pretty rare to find, so if you do find a copy, I'd love to check it out. Send it to me. Also, if you want me to review a cassette, feel free to send one to me. Just drop me an email, and I will surely love to review whatever you want me to review. Anyway, have a good day, and if you're collecting cassettes, keep on collecting cassettes, man. Alright, see you guys.